is my own life. When I was young, I'm young, but when I was pretty young, back in my high school, my father wanted me to become an engineer, and a mechanical engineer, because he owned some generator business which was going great at that time. And I was asked to become a mechanical engineer so that I can really take it ahead. But I never wanted to study engineering. That was somehow not what I was made for, because I always wanted to do something. I wanted to do something for others, not only myself. I wanted to be in the education domain. I felt inclined towards it. It gave me a lot of contentment talking about education, working on education related issues, because somehow I thought that education is the core of everything that we do in life. It really matters a lot. So while going through these problems of trying and convincing my family, their friends and everybody regarding what I want to really do, I was really alone at that point of time. But I took it as a challenge and decided that I'm not going to follow what I've been forced to. Rather, I would follow what I think my interest lies in. Yes, if I fail, I would have done something else, but God has been kind and I've come a long way in the field of education. With few awards, I've authored a book which was released by the Education Minister of the country, and a respectable position in the society in education as the National Co-Chairman of Education Council at ASSOCHAM, the apex industry chamber of the country, the knowledge chamber. I really want to give a message to all the students that you should never ever compromise with your interest and career that you wish to take up. Always give it your full heart and soul, and if you unfortunately fail, then try and look for people's advices. Find out the best what is for you yourself. But I agree, it's a difficult task. I've particularly traveled throughout the country, a lot of destinations abroad, almost 21 of them, and figured out that this problem of getting the right help to be able to judge what career suits you, it is a difficult task, especially for a country like India, South Asia, Africa, a lot of places. Because we don't have a very good technology infrastructure where we can just go and find out things. We don't have a lot of such facilities. So out of all the years of experience that I went through in my life, different stages, I counseled almost 14,000 plus students individually and in groups. And then was when I started writing about whatever I had experienced in the last 8-9 years. Look, India is a country which is primarily short of teachers. And when we're short of teachers itself, we cannot expect counselors to be available to us as students, especially in tier 2 or tier 3 cities in India. It's a big problem. So whom can we go to really understand what we are made for, how we should go about it, what are the career choices that we can take up. Okay, being a doctor, being an engineer, being a lawyer is something that everybody knows, but let me tell you that it is hardly less than 10% people who are settled in these professions, and there are 90% people, or maybe more than that, who are settled in various other professions Now there are two things that you can opt for. One, to be driven into a profession by a series of failures, that okay, because I was not able to be an engineer, I became this. And because I was not able to become this, I became this. So finally I'm settled with this, because at the end of the day I have to earn a livelihood. Or the second option, that by my choice I've become something and I'm sticking onto it and making a nice livelihood. I'm sure you would say that the second choice is better, because that is something which is not implied on you, you've chosen it and you're doing it rightly and successfully. So with all our experience, my mentors' experience, people around me working in the education industry, we've finally been able to make a solution which does not require any counselor, which does not require any teacher, and it still gives you as a student the right direction which you can follow. The core, the strength lies in self-innovation, self-learning, self-understanding, and self-research. That is why we call it the self-research methodology. So, all in all, we have been able to formulate something like this. Now, what is this? This is a company called Brentwoods, and this is a career encyclopedia, is what we call it. It's a self-governed tool for a student to know himself better. What happens is that if you follow just 3 steps, what we have mentioned in this, you can actually be able to know yourself better. You'll actually be able to understand your potential. You'll actually be able to figure out something for yourself. I don't say this is a 100% foolproof tool, but yes, it is definitely a great help. What happens now when we take it up as a student? We see there are few elements to it which have been very, very scientifically designed. Remember, we did this after testing it on 400 students for a length of 4 months. So you begin with a CD called Brentwoods psychometric test. What happens is you just insert this CD in your computer, go online, take this test, and this test will tell you what are your attributes, what are your likes, dislikes, what are your strengths, weaknesses, and what kind of characteristics do you hold. This is on the basis of a Rysek model, which defines your personality. Once you get the result of your personality traits, your interests and inclinations, then you can take up the second tool, which is called the career analyzer. Here, for example, every student knows which is my subject interest. For example, when I was a student, I hated maths, but I loved business studies. I loved economics to an extent. So I knew what my subject strength is. We have to combine the attributes that we have found out of the psychometric test along with this career analyzer, and then multiply the career choices. How? The career analyzer tells us that if I have chosen arts as my subject, what all career options can I choose? So there are like 40 of them. Similarly, if I have chosen PCM, what all career options can I choose? So there are around 33 of them. If I have chosen commerce, which all career options can I go for? So when we club the career psychometric test output and the analyzer, it definitely tells us about our strengths, weaknesses, inclinations, and on the basis of subjects plus interests gives us more choices in terms of what career options we can go for. So this is like a choice enhancer. So after these 2 steps, I now have at least 10 career choices which I can go up. Now, I found these 10 career choices for myself. There could be law, filmmaking, photography, politics, counselor, and blah blah blah. If I talk about my own self, then how do I get knowledge about all these relevant career options? Is the next big question. The best answer to that is this piece of work, which was done by me and a lot of other people, which is called the Brentwoods Career Guide. So what happens is, after you know what all career options you can actually go for, you can take up this guide and look at the 142 career options mentioned in detail. So what you get is, for example, if you think that, okay, if I think that, okay, I could be a good actor, and it's on page 4. So I'll go to the actor position, I'll open up, and I'll see what it has for me. So it tells you introduction to what an actor is. It tells you the prospects that are available if you choose acting. So we clearly mention that, look, it is an occupation which needs a lot of hard work, which needs a lot of talent, creativity, and a lot of luck. So not everybody who wants to become an actor is able to be successful like other professions. And yes, you have a good chance if you are really a good one. Then we tell you what are the courses and trainings available for the same in the country, and the most important thing, that what kind of personality traits you should have to really become an actor. For example, let's say my parents keep telling me that, okay, my parents keep telling everybody that, okay, let my son be a doctor, we want to see our son being a doctor. But I am afraid of blood. I don't want to, take skin in my hand. I can never be a doctor. So the personality traits are very important to be matched along with your career options and your strengths and weaknesses that you possess as a human being. So not only this, the guide also gives you an insight about the institutes that gives you acting courses all throughout the country, along with their websites and contact details. And thus, it makes a complete kit. One, the test that gives you your strengths, weaknesses, attributes, likes, dislikes. 2, the analyzer, which multiplies your choices of career streams. And 3, the guide that gives you detail of all the career options that you've selected. All in all, after doing this process of 3 steps, I am very confident that any student who takes this up will be able not only to understand himself, but also be able to reach some kind of conclusions regarding his career options. And to prove this all, he will have scientifically based logics, because everything that he does is on paper. So you can well go and tell your parents or your friends or your teachers or your principal that, ma'am or dad or mom or brother, look, this is what I am made for. This is my scientific analysis. So let me follow my dream and really become successful, and just not be a person who's trying to be someone else, who's trying to be what he is not. So this is a message that I really wanted to give you, because I'm very passionate about students when it comes to the pressure that is molded on them to go into a particular stream. No, that should not be the case. Follow your heart, follow your mind, do what you are meant for, and become a successful person. Thank you.